back, everybody, to Advantage in Paradise. I hope you enjoyed our lovely intro video. Let's jump into our recap for tonight. Okay. On the first afternoon of Village Gloam, the Wild Shadow, on a Tolva's Dock. Last we met, the Wayward Five recuperated after hunting down the Undying champions of Ilyavania. Huron broke the oath of Rodrin the Bold, famed general of the Elysian armies during the Morasir conflict. Now, he is no longer bound to serve Queen Ayla, but his feelings are discordant in regards to her purpose. He served the Undying One for 2 millennia, has seen what good she can do, and now something twists her purposes. But he is willing to work with the party for now. He reserves judgment for if he will follow them all the way to Theris Moor into her throne room. An Undying champion was not the only odd guest to join the party on this day. The avatar of Lu, the Fae Keeper, joins them through Timber's body. Timber opted to give the once bestial creature control over his body. To give him a taste of freedom. But freedom on Timber's terms. But Huron took a calculated risk and unbound the god from the magic manacles Timber placed on himself. Though the avatar fled immediately, Talio kept a keen eye on the Fae Keeper to ensure his rage stayed quelled. Together, the party decided to find their way to a veiled Warden Lodge to acquire resources and then find the hedge cleric community known as the Glennuviel Circle. These druidic naturalists are staunchly opposed to Queen Ayla. But it would be at least 2 days to the nearest lodge, and then further to the circle. During the journey, Sarathil offered to let Scarlet don the diadem of Athromenos to communicate safely with her brother magically. She felt the temptation to accept such a gift, but told him that Alicia and Huron's quest should be taking priority. The party had spoken earlier about the meeting that her brother Reese invited them to in Cairdolan with General Kinsley. Huron was skeptical that the party could spare the time to divert their attention. But Sarathil did assure them that the travel would be quick due to his teleportation magic. Ultimately, with a bit of guidance from Huron, Scarlet was unsure if it was even worth it to try and save Reese, that he may simply be too far gone. Perhaps to ease her mind, Scarlet decided to attempt to commune with the Scathe Fulum within the prongs of the Black, in an attempt to see if it could help her fight off the Crimson Cirrus's control and the parasite that she infected her with. Scarlet learned that the creature's name was Isgoth, but also the creature told her that together they could do great things and overcome the foes before them, like Pallid King. And though they both felt fear, together they could overcome that. When the party arrived at the lodge, they found it deserted, or so they thought. Scarlet snuck ahead and heard someone hiding inside messing around with whatever debris was left behind. As she attempted to sneak up on the foe, they caught sight of her and summoned a great forest beast known as a Balefane, a large lumbering creature that it looked like some sort of mixture of a bear, a brontosaurus, and a mess of moss, lichen, and flowers, all held neatly together with a wooden mask up at the head of the long neck. This creature began to not necessarily attack the party, but it began trying to knock down the tree that Scarlet was in. Huron quickly banished the creature as the party attempted to capture the rogue druid. this strange fellow flung spell and spell at them. None aggressive in the sense of damage or fire or shows of great power, but more for his own personal pleasure. As he turned Scarlet into a deer, compelled Kiron to laugh hysterically beyond his control, and eventually attempt to continue turning Scarlet into a deer and other critters. But eventually, the jokes had to end as the party broke out of these spells, and as the druid was trying to flee with Kiron's staff, you caught him. First Scarlet with her prongs of the black, but he quickly Misty stepped out and polymorphed her again. But then, of course, the very strong Nuldo was able to grab hold of the little fellow in a more permanent way. Upon catching the man, he revealed himself to be Ilgwyn of the Glennuviel Circle, one of these druids. Not the sage-like druids you might expect in an ancient order of naturalists, but more of a fey trickster-like druid. But even in captivity, he jested and trolled Scarlet with further attempts at polymorphing her. But in the end, this strange fellow agreed to lead you all to the Glennuviel Circle after he recognized you as foes of Queen Ayla and not servants of her, despite the Undying champion with you. Now the party is regrouping to trek onward with this new strange companion. All right. So, you've just made a tenuous alliance with this hedge cleric. At this point, I would say anyone who is down below, keeping an eye out on things, now kind of rejoins the party. So Talray returns, and Lou follows shortly behind with the rest of the party. So you all are up on the... So this lodge is kind of like a treehouse style lodge that you're all up in the top branches of now. There is the Balefane kind of dino bear down below that Ilgwyn has already jumped off of this and onto the back of the creature, and is waiting for you down there. But you all have a moment to regroup at this point and talk about what your plan is. So, what would you like to do?
This is who we're supposed to follow.
Well, I'm hoping that he leads us somewhat a little.
Hoping? You're not even positive.
Well, never spent time with the...
You're cutting out a little bit, Stefan.
You're cutting out.
Oh.
Adam, you're still not speaking.
How about now?
Better.
Better.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna follow him, and hopefully he brings us to someone better. I don't know the people there, so we'll figure it out.
It's not very reassuring. But I am going to stay as far back as possible, if that's quite all right with you.
Of course, though, he seems relatively harmless. Just a little chaotic.
I will lose my temper. I don't think that would be good for anyone.
Yeah. What do you think makes these people so trustworthy?
They're Listians, and they are against Queen Ayla. And we need all the allies we can get right now. So?
Guess so. It's worth a shot at 'em, I suppose.
Exactly.
We can't really get to know him without, hanging out a little bit. So we might as well see what he's got.
And I imagine they're familiar with Gloman as well. You might find a ally of them in that. regard Talray?
Well, I don't know. He could be pretty elusive, but we'll see.
All right.
If there's nothing else, let's follow the lad and get to it, eh?
I would say Chalio grabs a couple, he goes and looks in to see if there's any supplies that you all could grabs, rations, food for you all, as well as, some general things. I'd say he's able to get you all or find you all. Oh, wow. Okay. I rolled high there. 8 healing potions.
Ow.
Wow.
Common.
Common healing potions.
So,
Do I get one this time?
Yes, I think we'll
No.
distribute it evenly amongst everyone.
except
Except
Talray.
Talray.
Yeah, except Talray. No, actually, I mean, somebody else can have. I could be out. Like, you guys could split 4-way.
We have 8 that were being given.
Yeah, I have
It's
3.
not-
I have
yeah.
3 in my inventory.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's an alchemist. He's
Yeah.
he's got plenty of stuff.
So everyone gets 2,
Okay.
Excellent.
and
Thank
Kieran
you.
gives 1 to Talio.
Did you say minor healing potion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. All right. So you all are walking back down, and honestly, you see Ilgwyn there. The Balefane, and like I said, this is a very mature Balefane. It's probably extremely old, so it's much larger than the smaller one that you guys saw stampeding through the woods. And because it's so large, it is probably closer to a Brontosaurus in its stylings than a bear, like they are in their smaller form. So you look up and you just see Ilgwyn is kind of hanging from some of the moss on the giant creature. He's just hanging upside down, almost like an acrobat, and staring at each of you all as he just says, "What took you so long? Hop on. You don't need to walk in these forests."
Kieran gets on the Balefane.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'll get on as well.
Yeah, Talray flies on, so he gets, like, towards the top.
Lou's just staring. He doesn't know what to do.
Lou could definitely keep up, not on his own. He doesn't need to climb on.
Right.
I will get
Scarlet,
on
you might fall
reluctant-
behind if you.
Yeah, I know. I get on reluctantly, and I am very intentionally sitting in the back.
You see, as you climb on, you see Ilgwyn is sort of just rotating there on that vine off the neck, and he's just rotates around perfectly to catch your eye and gives you a smile. And he definitely does a little this. Nothing happens though, because he's out of spell slots.
I just.
Actually,
comfy-
I forgot. He can cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter at will.
Oh no! No!
How comfy is this Balefane, though? Real
It's
quick.
actually incredibly comfortable because when you climb on it, it's like the softest moss you've ever touched. When it's strong enough that when you climb, it doesn't pull out from the I guess the skin of the creature. But it's like once you're on top, you kind of just like flow into it like a pillow, like a really comfortable pillow.
Yeah, Talray's definitely considering a nap.
Down below, Lou and Talio riding his Velic Stalker kind of flank the Balefane as it just starts to marching through forest. Okay. So as you're marching through, you can see there seems to be kind of like these natural trails that the Balefane kind of naturally goes to that are wide enough and stamped down enough, probably by other Balefanes, for it to move through the dense forest. As you can see, every now and then, you can just kind of see like flutters of those flutters of those ethereal butterflies kind of come out of the moss and fly up into the air. Something to note that you all would have recognized about Balefanes at this point is that they do have the ability to completely shift in and out of the ethereal plane. But there's always one part of them that is on the material plane. It's either their body or it's the strange kind of druid-crafted mask that covers their faces. One or the other is ethereal. They keep their body in the material plane when they're kind of calm and just following commands. If they're spooked and they want to run away and they don't want to destroy everything, they can turn their whole body ethereal. But this one seems pretty calm now that Ilgwyn has calmed it down. For those of you who weren't here last week, Ilgwyn is an Elysian elf who is shorter than Curon, but definitely taller than all of you except for Timber. He has this sort of wild mane of hair that goes back and is kind of sticking up all over the place, and has all manner of just twigs and other roots and whatnot that are stuck in it. Less so, like, it's definitely not decorative what's in his hair. It's definitely like he's been crawling through bushes and crawling in the dirt, and it's just getting all up in there. He has a kind of long he doesn't have any facial hair around here. He just has kind of like this long beard that comes off of just his chin. And he's in fairly practical clothing that are very much just like the exact kind of clothes you'd want to wear if you wanted to be able to loosely crawl around and get into tight spaces and find things. He does have a lot of satchels, though, that do have several talismans hanging from them. Also, these ones look much more intentionally crafted and chosen, different druidic talismans. And he does have a little scepter kind of thing. It's not a staff that he's sort of leaning on. It's much more like a baton, really, that he keeps under his arm when he's standing. But right now he's just kind of walking back and forth in the back of the Balefane, and just looking around. He seems to be completely ignoring all of you, and as if he's completely on his own with his large Titanic pet. But it's probably going to take a little while for you to get to the circle. So if there's anything you want to do before getting there, anything you want to talk about, now's the chance. But if not, we'll speed travel there.
Go ahead.
No, Lou is just gonna like have thoughts in his head, like with back and forth with Timber. I'm not gonna have a conversation with myself.
Do you want me to?
No, it's okay. No,
Okay.
but it's basically just like reassuring, like, "Hey, what should I be doing right now?"
Yeah.
And then Timber's like, "Go follow them. Just follow them." Just
I like to imagine that in this sort of arrangement, Timber is like really enjoying the Feywild dream on the other side and is like meditating by the pond. And every now and then Lou is just sort of like, what am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
Because Lou had a day where he was kind of on his own and was able to run around and run through the forest. And now he's kind of has to stay with them because they're traveling. And he would definitely be a little uncertain.
Yeah.
Talray's just keeping an eye out because he doesn't want to get lost. And he doesn't really trust this Ilgwyn guy. Like, yeah, he looks like he's from the forest, and he probably knows his way around. But, I could tell when somebody's walking around in circles, so I'm just trying to avoid that.
Yeah, go ahead and give me just a general survival or perception check, your choice.
Sure thing. I have advantage because I'm in a forest. Nat 20. For a 30.
Hell yeah.
Phew.
Starting the
Phew.
night off. Good place. Alright. So what I'll say there for you is that you are going to be able to. I know you already have this feature, but you're really picking up on the geography of this area. You'll and you can tell that the Balefane is honestly doing more of the leading than Ilgwyn is at this point. So you trust the animal. It's more so if Ilgwyn starts to try to get it to move that you might be a little bit more like. He definitely seems like the kind of guy who, even if he's like being paid to lead someone somewhere, if he sees a patch of mushrooms he's more interested in, he'll go there.
Yeah, that's what I was looking out for. So I now understand that we're in good hands. So I feel a lot more at ease.
Excellent. Okay. Anything else from anyone?
Yeah, I want to just talk to Kieran really quick. Well, Kieran, are you up at the front?
I'd say he's like in the middle. You know, maybe he would. If anything, he might be wandering about. How large of a space is the back of this Balefane?
So I would say it's probably about 20 feet across.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Kieran might just be like walking about on the back of this thing, just like observing and like inspecting things and just like keeping busy in a way.
Okay. Well, when you walk by, I'll like reach up and just like grab your shirt sleeve or something. So, can I talk to you for a minute?
Yes, of course. Isn't it wonderful? This creature, it's in the trees, in the sky. It's just. Sorry, what is it?
No, it's fine. This is your home. You haven't been here in so long. I'm glad you're getting to see it again. Is it anything like you remember?
I mean, to my time with Myas, memories of the past always seemed a little muddled, darker. Seeing the lights here, the hues, the colors. Yes, it's just like I always remember.
It's good. It suits you, being home. I wanted to ask your opinion. Something. Um, I'm trying very hard not to think about it, but I can't help it. It's constantly on my mind. I don't know if Sarathil told you, but he offered to let me wear the diadem to try to talk to Reese. And initially I said no. I said thank you, but no. Because this, as you said, this takes priority. And I believe that it does. This is very important, but I can't get him out of my head. And especially if we're not going to make that meeting, I feel like I need to talk to him at least once more. So I wanted to know what you thought, because I don't want to lose focus.
If I may, Scarlet, focus is a little lost already. Nothing eases a troubled mind more than. And if the action you seek is talking Reese, then I think it best you pursue that. Far be it from me to hold you back from what you wish. I apologize. I know that sometimes I let quest here get the better of me, push out other things I deem distractions. But this is no distraction for you, Scarlet. This is serious and something you need to see to. I do not mean to belittle it. Even Kaze seemed to think that pursuing your brother and Kinsley's relationship and what was happening in Oxland was a good lead. I'm just less sure of the actions to take there and know that Queen Ayla has something we. And therefore, that's what I go after.
I don't feel like you've belittled it. I just don't want it to take priority when the whole world is at stake, you know?
Of course.
So I guess in that sense, when do you think would be least distracting to do that?
Might be best to get it over with. Like a band-aid, you know how they say? Rip it off and have it over with. And if nothing else, maybe it shows us that there are more pressing matters in Caer Dolan that we need to attend.
So, now? Tonight? I know.
No better time than the present.
Uh,
We can wait, of course. I was hoping that maybe we could visit my home, Navali. It might be safe there, or even in Sarathil. Could be safe, but we're also safe here. I know you may not trust Ilgwain, but
not even a little.
the Glennuviel Circle. I don't know the best words to describe, but they are not bad in any way. And we can trust them in so much as they will not hurt us or do any harm to the world.
Are we going to be there tonight, or are we going to need to make camp?
I don't know. Ilgwain, we getting there tonight?
You see, as you say Ilgwin's name, he absolutely pops up from behind Scarlet.
Shit.
It's a big creature, but it's not that big. You can trust us. You can trust me. He holds a hand out to shake your hand, Scarlet.
Nope. Nope. No. No. Please go away.
And you see he kind of grins and looks at you, Curon, and says, "Camp. We will need to rest, but we'll be there. I mean, if you want, we could go through the night, and get there
No.
quicker. But if we camp, we'll get there before midday tomorrow."
That sounds perfectly fine with me, Ilgwain. Thank you so much.
Of course, I will inform my brothers that we'll be arriving tomorrow.
Okay, bye.
I'm gonna walk over now that I see that, you know, it's becoming a group conversation. I mean, three's a crowd.
It's true.
I go up to Ilgwain and I say, if we're gonna be camping? I think I overheard that we're gonna be camping.
Mhm.
What's for dinner? I haven't had a good meal in a long time, and I don't know what the deal is with, like, harvesting or hunting in these parts, but I might be able to whip up something good.
You want a meal?
Lou's just like,
Suddenly, like, peeking up, crawled up the side as soon as he heard food.
I just imagine each time somebody jumps into the conversation, they pop up behind Scarlet.
Yeah.
You all need to stop doing that. So she's very sneaky, but she's not perceptive about people sneaking up on her.
Ilgwin is laughing his ass off right now. Every time Scarlet gets scared by people popping up. Oh, well, our Fae friend here could do some hunting, or we can do some foraging. There is plenty that the Illudome hinterlands can offer. A robust menu. What do you want?
I have some nice rations, Kieran says, nibbling on him like a little chipmunk.
No. Life is too, well, depending on who you are, long or short. But it is either way excruciatingly long to be eating rations, or far too short to not eat the finer things.
Yeah, I'm getting a little sick of good berries. I gotta let you know. I gotta be honest.
Oh, I hate good berries so much. It's always good berries, good berries, good berries. It's winter, so we're having good berries.
Would you call them bad berries then?
Nah,
Karen,
that's a different spell.
Give me a saving throw, wisdom saving throw.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Can I elect to fail?
Yes, you
Push-
can.
You get
It's a
pushed off.
29.
No, you make it if you want, but you can fail if you like. But you do feel that twinge of an enchanting laughter from Ilgwyn.
I mean, Kieran's already kind of a stifled laugh coming from himself just because he thought it was kind of.
You just see Kieran and Tim just laughing at each other.
Get up and walk away.
and
Just towards the front where nobody is now.
All right.
And you see Ilgwyn will wave his hand and stop any if the spell is even affecting you. He doesn't even truly know himself because you might just be laughing at your own joke. But Ilgwyn does kind of like run up though and kind of just like grab the neck of the Balefane and kind of spin around it for a moment and then crawls up to the top next to the head, and he seems to be whispering into the ear of the Balefane. You can see off the back, Rodrin is just sort of sitting alone, watching the path behind. But yeah, you're only going to go a little bit further, and then you'll probably stop camp. So that's probably what Ilgwyn is whispering to the Balefane about, is to go to a particular place, a safe place to rest. And you would find within the hour, the Balefane will have found a really beautiful spring that it it kneels its legs down so it's lower to the ground, and then all at once turns ethereal and you all fall to the ground.
Whoa!
And then you see, as soon as it's clear of riders, it walks into the water and becomes corporeal again, and just lays down in the water, and it all just sort of real big, kind of like a small wave comes up to the shore of this very small pond, but big enough for the Balefane to take a little cooling bath. But you have at this point, it's time to camp. So you can go ahead and tiny hut it, or you can build a campfire. You see Ilgwyn is building his own campfire, which you can see he doesn't chop any wood or anything, even though he does have a hand axe at his waist amongst all of his talismans. But he seems to grab particular talismans that look like long sticks, and he arranges them in a teepee structure, and then just waves his hand over it, and it ignites in this green flame that doesn't seem to burn the wood, but does give off a very, very pleasant warmth.
Any smoke?
No, there's no smoke.
Pretty cool.
I look at the campfire I just created that's billowing smoke.
Yeah, just like thick smoke going on. Scarlet can light things really easily, but she might not know how to make a non-smoky
Absolutely not.
campfire.
Absolutely not.
She's
She's not a Girl Scout.
Yeah.
Moss. There's a stone in there.
Halray's gonna find Lou and just say, "All right, well, seems like everybody's getting comfortable. Do you want to maybe I'll do the foraging and you do the hunting? You want to get out there?"
Lou is very distracted by the pond and just the scenery in general at first, so he just looks down at Talray.
I'm pretty tall too.
You want me to
Lou's like a good 12 feet tall.
You want me to hunt?
Yeah. You know, just enough food to get us through the night.
He does not. He just goes off. He
absolutely.
doesn't even continue the conversation.
Just zoomies out into the forest.
Alright, Talray tries to keep up.
Yeah, Lou is just sort of this like blur of silver and gold fur moving through the woods, but Talray, you'd be able to. It might be a little tough for you, but you'd be able to keep up.
Alright. I try to have a pleasant conversation with him as I struggle to like chase him.
All right, so the both of you can give me survival checks.
Okay.
Sean, I cannot find the link to.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I thought it was
All
on
good.
the under monsters.
Sean, I also
So
Go ahead.
I'll tell you how to do it after, Alex. But there's a way for you to add it to your collection.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but also I can send you the link for now though.
Okay, thank you.
I do have a feature that says I find twice as much food when foraging or tracking creatures.
Oh yeah.
Ooh. Well, Lou got a natural 20.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Jeez,
Oh,
man,
yeah.
these rolls today.
Right?
It's because we weren't here for a week or so. We gotta get what's called. We have
True.
like double rolls lined up. I got a
Really?
19.
The luck is piled up.
The luck is piled up, yeah.
What did you get, Talray, for foraging?
I got a 19, which is a 29 total.
29 total. Nice. All right.
Thank you, Sean.
Let's see. Got it. Yeah, Talray, you're able to find all sorts of stuff out there. There's all sorts of edible plants out there. There is stuff that you've never seen before, but you can kind of make some assumptions based on what you know about a lot of the plant life. That because it's even though Alicia and Taramran are very different, but they have a lot of parallels between them. I mean, they are kind of like yin and yang in the way they're structured around the mountains, and they're very close by to each other. So a lot of the plant life in this area might be like variations of plant life that you're familiar with that may have somehow traversed over here.
I'm
But
also a multi-dimensional being. I think I got a little bit of knowledge when it comes to sketchy plants that I don't know anything about.
that's a good point. Also, I imagine like Glowmung's lair and grove is probably much more akin to Alicia than it is to Taramran. So
good point.
you would probably definitely be able to see some familiar things that are definitely something that would be great. You see these there's these particular mushrooms that as soon as you see them, you're like, those are the good things. Those are the good ones. You and Glowmung call them big turtlebacks because of the coloration of the top of the mushroom head makes it look like a sea turtle shell. But when you like cut into them, they've got this like really silky smooth interior that is the taste is like crab meat. It's kind of sweet. It even has kind of like the red of cooked crab. Delicious, fantastic mushrooms. You don't even need to cook them, although they are really great in a brown butter sauce. But
Ooh, old turtleback soup. I know that one. We're having stew tonight, boys. I hope he gets something big and juicy.
And you're easily able to find, in addition to that, you can find there's two different variations. There's green hen lichen and bold hen lichen. And if you harvest them correctly, clean them correctly, they can basically substitute for noodles and when boiled. So you can basically make an Elysian ramen tonight, especially with whatever meat that Timber gets. Y'all going to be eating well tonight, especially with that fresh pond there. You got everything you need. Timber, with a natural 20, I will give you a few different choices of what you want to catch. There are Crescent Stags here, which are these large elk-like creatures that have Their antlers are, instead of being kind of branched out like a typical stag, they have kind of a crescent moon shape to them that make it very good for ramming enemies, but also digging, actually. And it's a strange kind of, as much as they do eat, they are herbivores, they're actually omnivores because they do eat a lot of bugs with those digging antlers. But they're very large and they probably look really attractive to Lou for catching and eating. There are also what are called the Elysians call them tree rats because there's too many of them in the forest. But they're basically these. They're kind of almost look like a mix between a reptile and a mammal. They have some scaly patches, but also some fur parts. And they hug the sides of trees, and they are kind of like reptilian sloths, and they basically just eat tree sap all day. And they don't have a lot of natural predators because they are so high up in the trees, and they basically blend right in with the tree, but they eat sugar all day. So they're probably well marbled in there, I would say. And then the final option is you've got a nat 20. Mm-hmm. So this might be sacrilegious, but Lou might not know better. You find a unicorn.
Damn.
Okay. So this is how I'm gonna say all three, except.
I was gonna say, like, can it be a unicow? That's much more digestible.
So this is he's gonna come back to Talray with the elk, the large elk, who's just gonna be killed.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll have had one of the tree rats. He'll have just one tree rat on top, and just knowing that it was super sweet to the taste. The meat was super sweet, and he'll have, like, a little bit of blood in its fur, just having had one. And the unicorn, he'll have eaten the front end.
Oh God!
So it just looks like a horse butt, and he'll bring that with him.
So I am going to actually ask you to give me an attack roll on the unicorn, because the unicorn of all these three is the only one that's really kind of like could possibly fight back you off and run.
Got it.
Yeah. The stag is definitely a formidable foe, but you're a avatar of a god. You could definitely take on a stag, but the unicorn might be a little bit more difficult.
Each one is made with advantage. Oh, there's a natural 20. And the other roll was a 19. Like, what the hell?
Okay. So give me
your damage.
Let's get the damage for this, and if you kill this thing in one round, basically, it'll be yours. If not, it does have the ability to teleport away, so it will teleport away.
Okay. Well, I rolled a 6 and a 5, and then I get a 6 and a 6, so that's already what's it called? 23 damage plus 7, so that's 30 damage.
Okay.
Hold on, I get 2 more attacks.
You need to deal 37 more damage to take it down.
Okay. So that's 28 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. I don't think I'm gonna make it. That's 13 damage.
Okay.
And oh, hold on. That second one, give me a second. I have to increase 1 damage die. Because,
yep.
Oh, I did the wrong damage die, too.
Did you do the D6s?
I did, yeah, instead of the D10s.
It's supposed to be D10s, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you want to just redo that damage?
Yeah, I'll just redo that. Okay, well, that's not that much better, but 16 damage for that. And then last attack is... Okay, sorry. Oh, I'm a dum-dum. Stop. Okay.
Dum.
I know. Okay, well, 23 to hit.
Yep.
And then... Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Come on. Big dice. 26 damage.
26 damage.
For the last... That should be enough.
So it was at... Yeah, let me see. That's... Yeah, that is enough. That is 5 damage enough to kill this majestic, beautiful unicorn.
Formerly beautiful.
You monster.
So
upon seeing this, like, you know,
Tower is
gore,
definitely gonna see you just like absolutely covered in the silver blood of a unicorn.
I'd also like to imagine that like he uses the horn to like stake the rat onto the unicorn body, like the butt.
Oh god.
Yep. Like a kebab. I don't know how long it is. It's about that long, but anyway, just to keep it in place.
It's definitely long enough to keep that there.
Okay, buddy. I imagine like Talray was just like peacefully like putting mushrooms and berries into like a sack on on Mundy's back, like a little pack mule, and then all of a sudden like he gets like flabbergasted by this like horrific sight, and it's just like, all right, okay, you definitely over hunted, but you also over ate, so we kind of break even there. Good, yeah. You know, you might next time maybe you brush your teeth before you go hunting, so you know keeps the meat sanitized.
It's... Don't you cook this anyway?
I guess, but you know, I like to leave. I don't like it well done every time.
Where do you want this?
I guess we'll just head on back to camp. We got enough. You know, we better talk to the druids here. We might have fucked up the ecosystem a little, but you know.
But you.
What do I call you? Are you? Should I be calling you Lou or Timber? I can't keep track.
I don't know your name either.
Well,
ecosystem's already fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell. I mean, I'm just making an assumption because you did so well, man. I mean, my name's Talray, by the way. I worship Glomon. You might have known him. He's taken a few trips to the Feywild in the past.
Does Lou know anything about Glowmoon?
That is a good question. I would say yes, actually. I would say Lou would have met Gloming in his past before he fell. Gloming would have never returned to the Feywild after the fall of it, but would have definitely had frequented it before. And Tower, I mean, even you, Tower, you would know exactly who Lou, the Feykeeper, is.
Yeah, I'm sure Glomung told me some stories way back when about him like chasing each other around or something.
Yeah, and you would, I mean, generally Wood Elf culture is very aware of the stories of the old Feywild, and that Lou was a Feykeeper. But yeah, Lou, you would have known Gloming a while ago, thousands of years ago. You would have run together amok in the forest of the Feywild.
I know Glowmoon. I haven't heard that name in ages. I need to put this meat down.
All right, yeah, we'll head back and talk more.
Lou, give me a wisdom saving throw.
You got it. Sorry, I can't roll on anything under a 19.
Yeah, I know.
Saving throw. He doesn't not proficient. Okay, 19. No, 20. Sorry, dirty 20.
Okay, so you, Lou, might feel a twang of negative feelings, bad memories, or sort of that way that you remember something good and then remember that thing is gone. And he feels a moment of that kind of swelling of anger, but it passes. But the two of you wander back to camp with your extraordinary haul. The rest of you, as you're getting comfortable and setting your camp up, would see Talray has a bag full of treats and goods, and Lou is dragging quite a few carcasses.
He's dragging the deer, the elk, and then he's carrying the butt of the unicorn stabbed with a rat.
Tree rat.
Yeah, I imagine just so it's not dragging on the ground as we walk, like Mundy's just holding up the back end of whatever he's dragging.
So as you kind of place that down in the camp, Ilgwin would kind of come rushing over. He doesn't have a look of like horror on his face, but he does kind of look at the mass of food, and he's like, "You know, it's only one night that we needed to hunt food for."
I already ate, and he just drops it.
Well, we figured what's better than a little home-cooked meal? We could bring some leftovers to your friends,
Yeah, well, it is a good thing we are not too far from the circle, so that these can be quickly preserved and not wasted.
Exactly. And yeah, I just quickly start, like unpacking and pointing out stuff like, "What's this one called? It's delicious." Like trying to get his mind off things.
Yeah. And you see he does like linger on the unicorn corpse for a little bit. And he just sort of says, "I think we might not want to bring that one back."
What did it taste like, Sean?
Unicorn? Oh god. Unicorn taste profile.
Sherbert.
Unicorn has a very
Sherbert.
The forward flavor of unicorn is like any kind of gamey meat of a hunted animal, but it kind of when it's cooked properly, and I guess for Lou when it's eaten raw, it does kind of melt in your mouth, and there is a very lovely aftertaste that almost has hazelnut notes to it. And yeah, so I've now given you the flavor profiles of Crescent Stags, tree rats, and unicorns.
Perfect.
My favorite part of D&D is the food.
Did this all for you, Sean.
Yeah.
As well as the flavor profile of turtleback mushrooms and green and bold pen lichen.
Taking the stick of, the stabbed rat with the unicorn horn and the unicorn butt and holding it up. Just... These two are delicious. Have them now.
Well, we need to cook them. It's a little different for non-gods. But I'll take that. I'll take those. Just put them here.
Huron comes back from like washing his hair. He's got it in like the towel wrap on his head. As he wanders over just in his robes, and he goes, "Ah, you're all back. Lou, is that where'd you get that horn?"
It was part of that animal.
Did you kill a unicorn? You found and killed a unicorn?
It was delicious.
Terrible mistake.
Try it.
And Kieran starts looking for the manacles. And he's like, "You're a menace to society. You're a menace to this plane. Who let you out?"
I don't might not be a great idea.
I hear there's a curse if you eat a unicorn.
Wrong.
It's true.
A
How rare,
half-life.
how
Lou
rare
is
are
like,
unicorns?
sorry.
Go ahead, Mike.
I said, how rare are unicorns?
They're pretty rare.
Lou is like a little like wide-eyed, like being rejected by everybody after he just hunted for them, and internally he's like thinking like, Timber, what do I do? your friends don't like me.
Oh.
Talray's loving this. He wanted the unicorn. He's just joking. He's like messing with him.
See, Ilgwyn kind of like goes up to Kieran and is just sort of like,
Ilgwyn, he killed
I know.
a horn
I
of the
know.
forest. A horn of the
Oh.
forest.
He is beyond forest.
I'm sorry.
He's-
I just need to. And Kieran puts his hands up and walks.
You see, Ilgwyn does kind of follow Kieran though. Like he's genuinely actually concerned. Like it's the first moment of an actual serious face that Ilgwyn has given the entire time. Lou, you're definitely getting some significant rejection right now. Scarlett, how do you feel about all this mess of food here? Let's get everyone's opinion. Lou can feel the most bad.
I mean,
Oh, perfect.
I'm still looking at the non-smoky fire and looking at my smoky fire and just being really pissed off that his
Have you
doesn't
just
any
been spending
smoke.
this whole time trying to fix your fire?
Yes!
Hey, it'll give the meat a nice smoky flavor.
100%.
That's true.
Trying all the different woods. Nothing's working.
Nothing's working.
Sarathil will start kind of just like looking around at the half unicorn. It's like, it's a shame I can't see the entire animal. As he'll start like poking and prodding it, just like doing some studies of it. I don't mean to be offensive as well, Lou, but I don't particularly eat at all.
Oh shit! We were planning for 30. We only got 3.
I can go.
Well,
It's-
maybe if I make a stew, I could cook it into there, and it won't look like a unicorn, so we can share with the people, and that we don't have to tell them unless they ask.
You
You can
hear
just
from
eat
the
it all
side.
now.
You hear from the side as Ilgwyn is like walking after Kieran because finally there's an NPC who has almost as high of a passive perception as Kieran. He shouts back to Talray and he just says, "Just make sure that you make 2 batches, one that is vegetarian." And he kind of just points at Kieran as he follows along behind him.
All right, so
Kieran,
I'm
how
busy.
far? Yeah, you're in full chef mode, I imagine, right now.
Yeah.
How far away are you gonna go to get some air?
Not very. He's just walking away. He's just exasperated. He's and he's just like almost talking to himself. He's like, I did this. I upset the natural balance of things. I should never let a Fae god out in the wild. Oh, what was I thinking? Oh Kase, why would you put me in this position? Oh.
You see, as you're kind of like, I imagine, like looking down and kind of moving around nervously, you see at some point Ilgwyn does kind of like step up to like 3/4 behind you and then just leans forward so that he's kind of like looking up at your face, looking down. He's got this little scepter under his arm and he just smiles at you. Not his troll smile, a genuine warm smile. And then you see he kind of gestures his hand to the forest floor in front where you see druid crafted vines come up to create 2 stools, small stools. And he just says, "Will you sit with me?"
Yes, of course. Thank you. Kieran's taking a seat.
And you see he takes out a from amongst the rattling talismans on his vest. He grabs a druid crafted pipe on there that you can see does not is not like carved. It's actually molded magically, and it has kind of that same green fire inside of it. He doesn't put anything like in it or any herbs in it. It just sort of has its own natural kind of smoky quality to it. And he just starts to kind of gently take a few drags of it and blows a few beguiling smoke rings that form into different shapes. As he'll look over to Kieran and just say, "You river clerics have a very different perspective of Alicia than the hedge clerics. You are precious about a lot of things." No?
I mean, I understand. I'm sure you're gonna tell me, life and, the cycles and all that, and, it's just life goes on. I get it. It's just he ate a unicorn.
Oh, and so have many creatures in these forests. Do you hunt them down?
No, I don't. And I don't intend to hunt down Lou. I just feel responsible for his action.
Kieran, tell me, do you, as a river cleric, believe in... You see kind of blows another smoke ring that then kind of twists into a long line, and the two ends kind of light up a little bit. He says, "Do you believe in fate?"
Well, yes, of course. The gods write our fate in the ether, and while we all have some form of free will to go about it, there are just some things that have to happen.
Have to happen. I don't think so. I do think there's some things that maybe the gods push their thumb down on it. You see he pushes his thumb into the actual embers of the pipe and it goes out, and he just has this soot-covered thumb that he kind of just sort of smudges in the air on that line of smoke that doesn't seem to have moved from where it was. And the smoke just kind of becomes this string of light in the air, and you see he just kind of grabs it and twists it around. You see him bending it and turning it and twisting it. He says, "The gods don't choose our fate, they just apply pressure. It's still up to us. And Lou is part of the great rhythm of that pressure. So are you. A unicorn died today. It is a tragedy. We should grieve it, respect it. But there are greater machinations at work in that great rhythm.
Of course, you are correct, Ilgwyn. It's just... why did it have to be a unicorn? I've always wanted to see one.
Well, on the bright side, now you have.
I've only
Or half of
seen
one.
Half of one, yes.
I'm sure you'll
Thank
see
you.
another one.
Sure, I'll see plenty more things before my time is done.
Just maybe don't ask Lou to do the hunting anymore. He's very good at it, though.
It's true. He's very good at a lot of things. I just fear what happens should he lose control.
Well, no creatures apply more pressure, apply more influence over the rhythm than gods. You have to be very clear with them. They're like children.
I have noticed trying to communicate with them is exhausting.
I think that's why the hedge clerics chose to observe the world more than to pray as much as our circles used to. Of course, Ilyuvania has... her spirit has passed into the great rhythm in a different way.
Though she still exerts her pressures, feel them daily.
Of course. All of this is her pressure. She'll just lift dirt up from the ground, let it fall between his fingers. Every single drop of soil and water and Balefane shit is all Ilyuvania in Elysia.
It does feel good to be back. Kieran says, just putting his hands in the soil, feeling her presence all around me.
Amongst that presence is the other presence. The Undying One. It's putrid. Rotten.
It is, but it's strange. It's almost in a comforting way. Like a heavy blanket wrapped around you. You can't move, it's hard to breathe. But you do feel safe.
Rot is part of the rhythm. Speaking of organisms that rot and devour rot, I believe your friend got some delicious turtleback mushrooms for us to eat.
Turtleback mushrooms. It's been too long since I've tried those again.
See, now you're smiling. Let's go. Come on. Sorry, I think you're much older than me.
At one point I wasn't, Kieran says, just getting up into camp.
Here,
Well-
come here, I'll braid your hair.
While he does accept that, if no one else has taken it, I'm giving everyone else the option first. When Kieran comes back, he picks up the unicorn horn.
I'm using it as a spoon right now.
Just even more desecration of your homeland.
A spoon or a fork?
Stir in the
literally
pot.
Oh, stirring
A
the
ladle.
pot.
So
Yeah,
like,
sorry.
I was gonna say, how are you using a horn as a spoon?
Yeah, me too.
Kieran lets Scarlet braid his hair and just forlornly looks.
No. I
Watch
turn
it.
you to. No. I turned
No.
you away to so that you don't watch it.
Just watch the horn being used as a common instrument.
Well, the thing is, I'd use my own spoon, but I got two pots going now because I got
Alright.
the vegetarian over here. I don't want to mix it with the meat.
Talray, give me a D100 and choose high or low.
Oh god.
Okay. Clearly I'm going high because it's all we're rolling tonight.
Don't watch Kieran.
$64, made it.
Okay. All right, so this is not going to be something does still happen. It just isn't going to be settled on you. You are stirring the pot with it and yelling all of this back to Kieran and Scarlet when suddenly you hear vibrations in the pot and you feel the horn start to kind of shake in your hands. and then it kind of like shoots out of your hand, almost like a bottle rocket, and is just hits a tree branch, and just you see this burst of twilight shadow fills the tree up, like someone cast darkness up there. And then it falls back down and lands point first into the.
Can I try and catch it?
Yeah, you can try to catch it. Go ahead
Yeah.
and give me a dex, just a dex check.
Just a dex check. Here I go.
EC 10.
All right, I got a 22.
Oh yeah, you can easily catch it.
Okay, not a spoon, but still pretty cool. I call dibs.
I should get it. I mean, I found it.
You already had like half of the thing. You took your part already. You could have ate it like 20 minutes ago.
I will say, in regards to Kaze, we might want to harvest some of that unicorn blood. I'm no alchemist, but I can tell a magical reagent when I see one.
Oh yeah, sure. I let it bleed. There's a pile of it back there.
And you see a bucket of silver blood.
If someone else could take care of that.
I got
by the
I
way-
got it. I got it, Kira.
By the way, Lou, give me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
As you vomit rainbows.
Oh my lord.
19.
19. Okay, so you don't feel sick, but you do feel a underlying buzz from eating that unicorn. Like you feel, it's as if you just drank like 10 cups of coffee, kind of all suddenly hitting you at once. As there's just this massive stimulant that's happening to you right now from all the unicorn blood that you've consumed.
Is this enough food? Should I go get more food?
No,
Is
that's
it-
okay.
Is,
We should be
what are you making over here? Is that...
It's almost done. Wait.
This is how you cook?
I mean, I'm no expert, but I think I'm doing a pretty bang up job right now, if you ask me.
What if you
Yeah,
ask
Luke.
everyone else?
Lou, you don't. When you were actually yourself long time ago, like you did not eat cooked food.
Right.
Your siblings all ate cooked food. Like the Bear brothers were known for making this really delicious fish and mead, and every other Fae keeper cooked their food or didn't eat meat. But you're known as for the hunt, and you've devoured a few souls in your time. When someone's judged badly in their afterlife, you've devoured a few souls. So,
Did you say he ate the unicorn so aggressively he ate its soul too?
no, not this situation. I'm just saying, like he's a scavenger. He'll eat anything. But also, like he had an old role in certain cultures. It was said that Lou would, if you were particularly in Drow culture, if you didn't honor the animals that you hunted and you died out in the wild, Lou, or what he was known in the Drow culture, would come and eat your soul for not respecting the dead animals that you hunted. Lou can hunt whatever he wants, though.
He still respects what he...
Exactly.
the unicorn. He thought it was just another animal to hunt. Something's gonna kill it anyway, so natural order of the food
Lou
chain.
is
So
an apex predator.
Lou's gonna actually go to the Beowulf?
Balefane.
Balefane? I was like, the Beowulf? No.
The big old Beowulf.
Beowulf. No, the Balefane. And he's just kind of like, just on caffeinated examination of this beast.
Yeah, absolutely. I imagine it's a lot like when just like those smaller animals are just like kind of like crawling all over or investigating like a big elephant that's just like, oh, whatever. I'm just gonna keep eating these whatever elephants eat, these fruits. As you're like, I imagine you even like crawl up on its back and are just kind of like sniffing around the moss, skin, and hide.
Yeah.
And you just see this long neck just sort of like, just like looks at you for a moment, and then it turns ethereal for a moment, and you fall into the water. And you see it becomes corporeal before, and you hear this sound coming from it that's sort of like. As it'll kind of lower its long neck down for you to crawl back up onto its back.
I'll just do that. I mean, energetic is... That's all hell.
Yeah, the Balefane is being very friendly to you. And, even to you, Curon, looking over there, like, all you know about Balefanes is that they are really aggressive to anything that's not a hedge cleric. Now, granted, you are kind of under the protection of Ilgwyn here, but it is noteworthy that this creature is playing with Timber or Lou. Creature would normally be pretty apathetic to the rest of you, other than Ilgwyn.
Mundy wants in on the playtime, so he just follows around.
Oh, it would the Balefane would totally be down to play with Mundy as well. Particularly, probably even more so Mundy because of his relationship to the ethereal plane as well. So, despite kind of like the conditions of why you're here in Elysia, this is a very lovely afternoon, other than the murder of a sacred unicorn. But you're gonna have some Elysian noodle soup. You're going with some unicorn meat in it, and it's just a nice. I mean, Elysia is a beautiful place, and by the pond there's a lovely visual of the perpetually twilight sky and the deep violet hues of the night sky with the black clouds blocking out some of the stars, but it's lovely. Is there anything anyone would like to do before the end of the night and the next day?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sarathil.
Yes, Scarlet.
I spoke to Kieran earlier, and if it's all right with you, I'd like to change my answer from earlier and try to speak with my brother.
Sure, of course. As Sarathil will take off the diadem and present it to her. It's like, tonight would be perfect night as any. Of course, you must attune to it. It may take a little bit of time, but once you get attuned to it, these are the variety of spells that you can cast. One of them being, forgot the exact name. I apologize.
It's telepathic bond.
Yeah, it's telepathy.
Telepathy.
Yes, no, telepathy. Just focus your feelings on your brother, his entire image, and you'll be able to convey a message to him. Do know, though, he may not respond. He'd have to be willing to accept your request to speak. But at least this way, he cannot and should not take advantage or control of you in any fashion.
Will we be able to have a conversation?
Yes.
Right. I'll go spend some time with it now, and then I'll get you and Kieran before I contact him. I don't think I should do it alone. Just in case.
Of course.
Thank you.
Good luck.
I'll go sit with the crown for an hour.
Sounds good. During that time, is there anything anyone else would like to do?
I guess Sarathil will probably just pick around and study as much as he can of what's left of the unicorn carcass. Maybe
Yeah,
doing some like just
absolutely.
like magical little snaps just to, I mean, just try to get any information out of it if he can.
Yeah,
In the
absolutely.
same vein, I'm gonna try if I can attune to the unicorn horn. I don't know if it has attunement, but I'm gonna try and do that.
Sure, I would allow you to do that. So Sarathil, go ahead and give me a nature check.
Yeah, this doesn't. Okay.
Yeah, just for fun.
Yeah. 22.
So yeah, this thing is still reeking of its latent magic. And you can tell like celestial magic is kind of radiating off of it. It's the more you study it, the more you're like, wow, I cannot caught this thing. Like that is like you can clearly get a sense of like, oh, there's latent celestial magic, but there's also latent conjuration magic. There's latent other types of magic. Like this creature, this creature's probably killed more hunters than hunters have killed unicorns in defending itself. But Lou, of course, is an avatar of a god, so that will affect his. He is higher on the food chain than this creature, but this was a very powerful creature and formidable. But that magic, that radiant magic, that celestial magic, does kind of have a kinship to the radiant magic that sustains you.
Interesting.
It's there's a little bit of it everywhere around you, like the act of studying the unicorn, and you got a good enough roll that like it clues you into like the fact that this slight radiance and celestialness is kind of everywhere. It's very prominent on the unicorn, of course, but like even just the smallest plant at the roots of a tree has some level of this twilight radiance.
Fascinating. And with all this information he's taking in, just jotting into his notes.
It does also have a mingled with the radiance is this latent fey magic as well. That at first you might have thought was just sort of the like Lou's magic that may have just been kind of like contaminating it.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you start to study other organisms, like they all have this mingled radiant fey magic everywhere. When previously, for the most part, the understanding is that radiant and celestial magic is pretty firmly separated into their own trees.
Right. Okay.
Talray, while you're attuning to that unicorn horn, roll me a d20.
Oh no. Okay. Here we go. 15.
Okay. You are able to attune to this unicorn horn. It can basically, what you're getting from it is that it can operate as a spell focus that gives +1 to spell DC and spell attack. But in its raw form, it is inundated with wild magic. And if you're attuned to it and you cast a spell, there's a strong possibility of a wild magic surge.
Okay. So it's like every time I cast a spell,
Yep.
does it do anything else?
Maybe. This is all it does right now, but it might have
Shit.
more magic in it.
When Sean actually prepares this.
When I have when I actually planned
When
for
he
you
doesn't
all to
have
get
improv a unicorn horn item on the spot.
You know, integrating it with other things would probably make release more or focus more of the magic, but in its raw form, it's basically just a
Put it in
wild
your
magic
gun.
wand.
Oh my god.
Could
It's
be an interesting
I mean,
thing.
I could like just glue it to the front, and it's like a bayonet.
It's actually yeah. I might let you do that.
I know it's not exactly how mending works, but Kieran has mending in his level fucking whatever we are, and I can just mend it on, right?
I would be very open to this this collective crafting of a unicorn horn bayonet.
Now I need a scope from like some other rare creature.
like the eye stalk of a beholder. His scope. Oh man. All right. Before we get to Scarlet post attunement, is there anything else anyone would like to do this evening?
Timber would probably tell Lou to go apologize to Kieran.
That sounds about right.
Kieran, I'm sorry.
It's okay, Lou. I may have overreacted. As Ilgwyn pointed out, it's just a natural way of things. You're not the only thing that can kill a unicorn. Not to belittle your power, it's just... Unicorns die. As do all creatures, as will all of us, as do the gods even. You will die one day, probably. Probably no time soon, of course, but... thank you.
You're right. It was a mighty beast, and it should be respected.
I just hope it tasted good.
Oh, it's so delicious. You should really try some.
Maybe some other time. For now, I'm just glad it brought some happiness to the world with its...
It made my day, if that helps. In the primal plane.
It does. Thank you, Lou. I appreciate it.
Is the moon out?
Yeah, the moon is the crescent moon is always out. The corpse moon will always be noticeable in the sky.
Okay.
And definitely from this grove, you can definitely see it.
Okay. He's just gonna kind of sit next to Kieran and just stare at it. Not say anything. That's it.
Kieran just reaches out and pats him, and his hand lingers there, and then he starts scratching him, like on the shoulder. Sorry.
No, I kind of like to do it again.
And he just
Some character growth there. Last session, Lou snapped at Kieran after he tried to.
Yeah, it's true.
He did he started liking it, but then he snapped out. Excellent. All right. Miss Scarlet, it's Rogue.
It's me.
Yes, you. So you have you're attuning to the diadem.
Mm-hmm.
As you place it on your head, you feel that magic surging in. You're concentrating on it. You feel it flow over you like a spring breeze. But this isn't the first time you've felt the magic of Athromenos. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
7.
Okay. You're bombarded for a moment with an overwhelming clarity of mind. You've felt this once before.
Does that mean I remember Caleb and my mother?
Only for a moment. In the same way you did in the vision, the dream that monk gave you time ago. And the spirits of those you killed when they visited you. But it's gone as quickly as it comes, like smoke through your fingers, trying to make perfect fire. And then the clarity fades, and you are attuned to the diadem.
If I remember that clarity.
Yes, but the memories of your mother and Caleb are like when you wake up and try to remember a dream and it slips away.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
you know you remembered someone important there, and you
Right.
know who those people are. Like,
I just don't-
like intellectually, Scarlet
Yeah.
knows who they are. And
Yeah.
but for a moment, it's almost like you felt a gush of love in your chest, and then you don't know why it's there now,
Mm-hmm.
and it stales and wilts away as a fleeting feeling.
I'll blink back just a couple tears and walk over to Sarathil and Kieran and I'm ready. I think I spent enough time with it.
Sarathil kind of ignores her at first because, not purposely, but because he's so into studying the unicorn that he's now studying almost everything around it, just searching for why this Fey magic's coming out, and he's lost in his kind of research a bit. Yes, I understand. Like giving like little magic shoots at it. So maybe you might have to ask him again.
Sarathil.
Oh. Yes. Caught me off. Has it been an hour already?
Yes.
Alright,
We can do it later if you're busy.
No, this is important to you. I get lost in myself sometimes.
Kieran, are you with over there too, or are you somewhere else?
Close enough. Kieran hears it, and he pats Lou on the back as he gets up and meanders over. I don't know what help exactly we can offer you from here, but we'll keep watch and make sure you stay safe.
I just don't want to be alone. For once. Strange feeling.
You're never alone. The Wayward Five. And Iluvania's always watching you, so.
All right.
And you know what? Since it's the end of the day, Kieran is going to cast Circle of Power. Simply to give Scarlet advantage on any magical saving throws that she might need to take.
Nice.
Or,
Thanks, Q.
saving throws against a magical ability.
Totally. All right. So, Scarlet, you can reach out with telepathy to Reese.
Okay. I'll just I'll sit crisscross and just kind of look at Kieran first and then Sarathil and just nod, and then I'll take a deep breath and close my eyes, and I'm gonna think about Thatcher, but when he looks like Reese. So when he's not looking like his disguised self.
Okay.
And just try to focus on that the way that Timber taught me to, or attempted to teach me how to focus on one thing in particular.
So, you feel the connection being made. Interestingly enough, technically speaking, this lasts for 24 hours.
Oh, cool.
So you
All right,
could
great.
bother it for the next
Forgot to
day.
mention that. Well, that's why I told you the spell if you want to look it up.
Hey.
Oh God. But the spell enables a creature with an intelligence score of at least 1, which he does, to understand the meaning of your words and take in the scope of any sensory messages you send to it. So you can kind of send, it's not a full dream effect, but you can kind of give sensory messages to him. So like you can portray thoughts, you can portray images, feelings.
Okay.
You can send your feelings to them.
Okay.
Oop, that's too
Ah!
Those are Scarlet's feelings.
Yeah, those are Scarlet's feelings.
Okay, what do you send to your brother?
There's not a limit on this, like,
No
sending,
limit.
right?
Not at all. This is the purest form of message.
If you can hear me, let me know. That's it for the first sentence.
There's no voice that comes back, but there is an affirmative sensory feeling, an accepting of your voice.
I'd like to hear your voice, now that you can hear mine.
Should we play the question game then?
How many
3.
do I... Can't I have more?
Always 3.
All right. But first, before I forget, I don't know that I'm going to make it to that meeting. I want to. I do. But there's some more pressing matters.
That's all right. I can get the message to you.
It's so good to hear your voice.
Three questions.
What is the objective of this meeting?
Well, an end to Kinsley, and the beginning of something new.
I won't pretend that I'm not pleased it will be the end of Kinsley.
It all works out. You'll never have to worry about him again.
Why did you do it?
Is that your second question?
It's an add-on to the first.
It's not how this game works.
It's how my version of the game works. We played yours last time. Let's play mine this time.
Why did I do what?
Why did you kill the king? When you knew Kinsley tasked me with that.
Well, he was a boring chap. An idiot. A fool. Clown.
He wasn't the real threat.
I know. Know everything. Remember?
Of course I do.
And I could say that it is I don't like my sister being under the thumb of a man like Kinsley. But I could also say that it is useful to have another gap in power in the East.
You said it's the start of something new, and this is my second question.
Sounds like a third.
It's the second. I have an
Also
important...
not a question or a statement.
I didn't finish. And I have an important third question you're going to want to
You
hear.
always get ahead of yourself with your words, Rowan. You should learn to slow down.
Second question. What is this new thing that you're starting with this meeting?
No, it's simple. I'm going to change everything. For us,
Us.
of course. If you would only let go.
Reese, if I let go, terrible things are going to happen.
Not if we do something about it.
I don't think I know
I'm
what is-
surprised you haven't tried to dig that thing out of your neck with a knife.
It's crossed my mind. Believe me.
Things will never be what they were before. I've changed. And so have you. I'm not Reese. You're not Rowan.
We could be again.
No.
We could.
That is the only thing that is immutable. We will never be those children again. But we can let go and tear down everything responsible for the monsters we've become. That, sister, is what I'm doing. Join me or not. Don't care about you. Just need to let go. Let go of it all. Do what you need to do. I can see it. The beautiful stars, shattered moon above you, scintillating pond. It's beautiful there. Stay as long as you need. Placate the elf. I'll be waiting in Caer Dolan long after this meeting. Though you might not recognize me.
I'll always recognize you. You look just like me.
Only in your mind. But that's 3 questions.
No, this is my 3rd. Do you still love me? As I do you?
Of course. I'll always love you. No matter what sort of monster you become. I don't know if you'll always love me, though. I can already feel those gnawing questions of doubt.
Can you blame me?
Curon. I don't know if it's worth it.
Of course it's worth it.
He's too far gone. You might need to accept what he's become.
You're talking about Curon or yourself?
I'm talking about your conversations with him. Remember, I see everything. Only when we talk. Flood of memories, mingling with my own. I suppose I can send you mine now, with this new spell. Thank you.
It could be us against the world again.
Well, it already is, Scarlet. Because it's only a matter of time before you lose it again.
I don't
And
like
the
this part
elves'
of you.
patience is going to run out.
I don't believe
You think he'd choose your life over the world? I'd always make that choice. I'd always choose you.
It's a lot easier to believe when you're using your real voice. Anything you say like this, I don't believe you. This
Well,
isn't you.
I suppose you'll have to come find out.
I'll see you again. And I will recognize you.
As long as you don't die out there for this cause, we'll always see each other again. Good night, sister.
Right. Brother.
And he'll close off the connection. And now he knows how to cast telepathy.
Yeah, I thought about that right before.
But
comment.
I think that's where we're going to go to a break.
Hmm.
All right, folks, we'll be back in 5 minutes to follow up with this and then get our heroes to the Glennuviel Circle. Stick around, folks. We'll see you in a little bit.
Going in.
Welcome back,
Jumping
everybody.
in.
Welcome back, everybody, to Advantage in Paradise. Our heroes have been slumming it in the forest with Ilgwyn, the hedge cleric. No, they're having a lovely evening with just a little bit of trauma. But no, we just got back from Scarlet having a poignant conversation with her brother, where he's probably given her more information than he's ever given her before about his intentions and whatnot. And, you know, depending on how much she believes when she talks to him. Curon had a lovely forest chat with Ilgwyn about the balance of life and the great rhythm and all of these wonderful hedge cleric things that are just a variation on his river cleric ways. Talray and Lou had a nice little hunt together and some good times. And Sarathil has been spending the last hour thoroughly studying the organisms and their strange fey and celestial magic. But we come back as Scarlet. You would come out of, I mean, realistically, like, this is less like Dream, where you're like completely out of it.
Yeah.
It's more so like you're just ignoring your surroundings and you were focusing on the conversation and your internal feelings and the images that were coming into your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of almost like everything dimmed around you, and now when you come back, the lights come back on. If we're thinking like a theater.
Yeah. Okay. So I would have had my eyes closed that whole time, and if the two of you were still sitting there, you might have seen a tear or two scroll down her cheek. Roll down her cheek. And then
Oh, I thought that was Shannon.
No. My phone is never on vibrate, ever. So I'll just, when the conversation ends, I'll open my eyes and blink a couple times and just kind of look back at the two of you.
Did it work?
It did. I heard his he spoke in his real voice. I haven't heard that in years.
And you were in control the entire time, correct?
I was.
Good.
He sent me feelings and memories, but I was able to do the same.
Good. I'm glad that it worked. Finally.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Do I need to keep it on in order for the effects to last?
Effects as far as for you
If
to
I-
talk to him?
Mhm.
To my understanding, yes. The spell lasts 24 hours per cast. So if you wanted to try to contact him again the next day without casting it, I guess you won't need to actually wear the diadem.
No, it's all right. I'll take it off and give it back to you. I don't know that I'll need to talk to him again for a little while.
Well, we know if you ever do, and you could safely do it, the offer still stands. Or always stands.
I appreciate it.
Alray hands her another bowl of soup.
Thank you.
I'm not really sure what you were talking about, but a good meal always makes me feel better.
Thank you, Telray.
Okay. The night continues on as you're all settling down. Each of you eating at your own pace, sitting around the fire. You see, Kiran, you would notice that at like a certain point during this journey, like Talio has become more comfortable around your friends, but also like oddly more comfortable with Rodrin. And you notice like at one point they're just like sort of like riffing back and forth in Elysian with one another. As you can tell, Talio, as a person who serves in the kind of one of the military wings of the Elysian, or did serve, is basically a deserter now. He's asking him all sorts of stories, and Rodrin at first is very cold, and he's just like sharpening his sword, but then eventually it turns into a tit for tat, and it's strange to see this undead, undying man jovial, especially considering how you've met him and moved through this.
Which soup do they eat?
Rodrin doesn't really eat much. He tastes it though, because I mean Rodrin's the same as Sarathil. He doesn't need to eat, but he does taste it because he hasn't tasted anything in a long time, and he can taste again. So he does eat quite a bit of it actually for an undead man. Talio is not a vegetarian like Curon, but he does keep his meat consumption lower. So he'll take a bowl of the meat one, but he might throw a few chunks back into the pot.
Always just looking for one compliment. You know, he's been cooking for himself for so long. These dragons, all they eat is raw.
No, it's definitely. I would say it's definitely good. You found high quality ingredients, and you're able to cook it appropriately. So Talio would give you kind of a really. He's definitely not coming up and being like, "This is the best Elysian ramen I've ever had," but he does give you a respectful nod as he finishes his second bowl.
Warms my heart. I'm gonna, before bed, I'd like to cast contact another plane, or attempt to at least. So I don't know if that time's, but
yeah, I'd say as everyone's kind of coming to a rest, you can once you're done cooking and you can see done cleaning, whatever, settling down with Mundi, you can perform the ritual to cast contact other plane.
Yeah, and once again, I'm gonna go to Curon first. Okay. I'm gonna say, hi. I hope you enjoyed dinner. I know it's not quite what you expected, but the vegetarian side probably okay.
No, Talray, the stew was delectable. It's been so long since I had, what was it, turtleback mushroom? Soup too. It was just like my mother used to. Though actually, you used less salt, which I appreciate.
Mostly because I didn't have it, but kind of you to say. Well, I was just wondering, the last time I attempted to contact another plane for some guidance, you helped me out with some magical stuff to possibly make it a little easier on me. I was wondering if there's any possibility you could do that again.
Of course, it would be my pleasure. Whatever you need. Let's get you in contact with that little Drake.
Okay, so it's a DC-50 intelligence saving throw. And I don't know what you can do to help with that, but...
I mean... Well, it's not a magical effect, is it?
No, I would say it is.
Okay, so if Circle Power is still up, 10-minute time.
Oh yeah, I'd say Circle of Power could still be up.
Yeah, so you'd have advantage on the roll.
Sweet. How do I do this? I'm just gonna roll 2d20s, I guess.
You could just right-click on, if you right-click on Intelligence Saving Throw, to give you an option for advantage.
Gotcha, okay. It's a D0, I have a +0 to Intelligence anyway, so... Here we go! A 6 and a 13, I fail, and I'm insane for the rest of the night.
Oh, no! Oh. Okay. Alright, so, I guess I gotta describe what this looks like. Um, so the last time you saw him cast this, it was quite beautiful. And there was this sort of zipping around hummingbird-like spectral drake that appeared, and a manifestation of Clomung. But in this moment, you can see he he gets the ritual down. He does what he needs to do, and you see you can see his eyes are closed and he's trying to reach out. You can tell his eyes are moving rapidly underneath the eyelids, as you can see some perspiration appearing on his brow. And then he kind of just sort of like gasps and his eyes open and they're spectral for a moment, as if he's seeing too many forms of Glowmung across several different realities, and they are all kind of answering questions to him at once in no discernible way. All of his questions, and he just sort of like can't handle it, and his conscious mind shuts down to protect his brain. And you see, after he shouts in a significant amount of pain, you see Talray kind of just collapses to the side. And he is catatonic basically until a long rest, right?
Yes. So I'm kind of just like, I don't know, like sort of like fetal position, rocking back and forth, like speaking gibberish to no one in particular.
You also take 8 points of psychic damage.
Oh, only 8? That's pretty good.
I rolled 3 1s and 3 2s. But it definitely, but like Kieran, you could definitely see that it completely backfires on him.
Oh dear. Oh my. Okay. All right. There. It's gonna be okay. It's just like a bad trip. No.
I'm like trying to pick up a bowl and I'm spilling soup everywhere.
No. Let's lay down, Talray. Mundy. Here, boy. It would appear.
Mundy comes over and Mundy, I think, has seen this before. So Mundy kind of like immediately like a dog leading you to the well. He kind of like leads you to bring Talray over to a tree to lean him down, and then you see Mundy just kind of like coils around him, and seems to be his emotional support animal in this time of crisis.
Nice.
Let it pass over you. Embrace the feeling. It's terrible now, but it will pass.
Pet the dragon.
You'll be okay, friend. And Kieran will sit with him for a bit just to make sure, and once he kind of sees them, pass out. Also go pass out.
Kieran, give me a wisdom saving throw.
Has it been 10 minutes?
I'll say this is happening after the circle of power is used up.
Okay.
Wild table?
No.
Oof. 14.
Okay, good to know. Okay, so you go to sleep for the night. Kieran and Sarathil, you obviously have your shorter rest, so you can, Sarathil, you can do more studying if you want, and Kieran, you can do as you wish as well.
I do. I guess keep it short and sweet.
Mhm.
I'd like to continually do research and jot some stuff down, but I guess actively, if I find any flora fauna that is not emitting Fae, I'd like to study that more.
Give me a nature or arcana check, your choice.
Arcana. 23.
You do not find a single organism that is not giving off Fae. And I say this, I don't mean it in the sense of you very exhaustively search.
No, that's pretty much what I figured, and so that's what I was actually just double checking.
Yeah. With that high of a roll, you know for sure that everything is giving off that radiance. It's not just that you couldn't find something.
Mhm.
actually, there is, you know, your. Nope, no, I stand by it. Okay. Anything else between the two Night Owl boys on this evening, or do you crash?
Just to double check my own sake, I'm not giving off any Fae, right? The magic
no.
of me being undead
Yeah,
is not. There's no Fae.
Yeah, your undeath is purely a celestial undeath. Same with Rodrin. There's no Fae on Rodrin.
There's no Fae on Rodrin.
Nope. Yeah. But everything else is giving off that Fae. And I mean, obviously, like, the rest of your companions aren't giving off Fae either.
What about Talray?
Oh, yeah, Talray is a Fae. He's giving off pure Fae magic. He's abundantly Fae.
Yeah.
And Lou, what about Lou?
Lou is very Fae also. There's actually a lot of Fae going on here. Also, Ilgwyn is giving off a lot of Fae too as a druid.
Got it.
But Ilgwyn also has that celestial on him as well. Okay. All right, so each of you find your moments of rest and wake up well rested the next day. Very few complications other than for Talray. For the lot of you, if anything, one of your most successful nights where you also, used magic items somewhat recklessly, but probably the least reckless you've ever used them. And it's still a swell evening for having an unchained Bay God here as well. But you all wake up. Ilgwyn wakes up early because he went to bed early, so he's already up when you all wake up. And getting things ready. You can see him. He's coaxing the Balefane out of the water. These things seem to love just soaking, like to the point when, like, Huron, you've heard stories of Balefanes soaking in water for so long that, like, mud cakes on them, and people just think they're little islands on ponds. But the way he talks to the Balefane to convince it is these series of high and low pitch whistles that trill and arpeggio that slowly gets the Balefane to finally relent and get out of the water so you all can climb onto its back. I gotta get my Lord of the Rings reference in, so it's a lot like when Gandalf whistles for Shadowfax in the Two Towers. But you're able to start moving on to eventually get to the circle. So you travel for the first half of the day. It's a very lovely day. Alicia is perpetually in a state of twilight, but there is that ebb and flow to sort of the brightness, where the it's a deep, deep, deep violet at night, and then it's kind of a more of a blues and orange and violets during the day. But it's almost like the rhythmic. The rhythmic movements of the Balefane kind of is relaxing as you're moving through. But you eventually see up a hill closer to the roots of the mountain where there's this waterfall that feeds a much larger lake in this area. You can see as you approach, another Balefane's head comes crashing up out of the water as it all flows off of it. And it shakes its large neck. This one is just as big as this one, and water goes scattering all over the place off of its mossy hide, like a warm spring rain. Although it's actually probably pretty cold since it's very cold in Alicia. But up ahead on the road, you can see there's a point when you can see these pillars line the road, and it's starting to no longer be like Balefane game trail and more like actual old ruined cobble. And you start to see Elysian arcs and open temples that are all ancient and overgrown. Some of them you notice are seem even older than the Elysian ruins. And Curine, when you look at them, you don't recognize the architecture. It's older than anything you've seen before. And then you would see a hedge wall, not a hedge maze, a hedge wall of what look like manicured and grown vines and thorny vines and brambles that have been druid crafted into a parameter wall. And the Balefane turns ethereal to kick y'all off its back. And Igwin kind of like slaps its thigh, and it goes running off into the woods. You hear a few minutes later, you hear a loud as it has jumped into the lake. And Igwin will walk up to this hedge wall with y'all in tow, and you see he kind of looks back at you all, then looks at the hedge wall and looks back at you all, and then kind of like goes like this to whisper to the plants.
What's he say?
He whispers something lovely. But it does open up though. The brambles all pull backwards, and you can see on the other side is this very beautiful garden, essentially, of different plant life. A lot of the plant life that you found out there that you harvested as well in there. There's this trunk in the middle of the this grove that is massive. And it actually looks very similar to the petrified trunk you saw in the Underdark in size and variation, except alive, or at least, not petrified. It is a trunk. Or stump, sorry. Trunk is not the right word. Stump. And then you see there are smaller Balefanes moving through this area. When I say smaller, I mean like they're the size of elephants and rhinos instead of the size of massive dinosaurs. But they're milling about. They have variations of the wooden mask all over. Some are spindles of several fibers. Others are perfectly carved. And you notice that there are trees mingled with the violet, golden, and green trees they look like they're made of pure starlight. Where you would see one that just juts out, almost looks like it's stone crystals that comes out, but it is clearly in the form of tree. And you see some trees are similar, but they're in the process of becoming crystalline in starlight, where they still have some of their bark and all of that. And all of the crystalline trees have these beautiful moon white flowers that grow on them. It reminds you a lot of the Oasis, where there were the moonlight palms, except these are much more like, I'd say they're much more like fir trees that are crystalline. But it's beautiful. And you can see Igwin immediately comes rushing in, and you just hear him shouting at the top of his lungs, "Eldwin, Florian, I'm home. I brought guests." And you hear, you see from that tree trunk that's in the center, you see you hear footsteps coming up as if there is a spiral staircase in that tree trunk. And then you see this beast of an Elysian man stepping up with a druid crafted wooden bowl that he's stirring right now. And he has an apron on. Underneath, he has basically the exact same clothes as Igwin, that leather hide shirt with the striped pants, whereas kind of those almost jester-like pants. And he's where Igwin is probably like 6 feet tall. This guy is 7 feet tall. Very muscular, very thick, silver beard. He's balding though. It's probably the most of you only seen 2 or 3 Elysians. This guy he's not what you expect with an elf. The stories all say about elves are beautiful, have long hair, smooth faces. He's got a bushy beard, balding, comb over, with some braids though. On the ring that makes up his hair, there are braids though still, that just come down like this long. And he has no mustache though, but he has a very bushy chin down beard, and these beautiful orange eyes, much like Ilgwin's orange eyes. As he'll shout back to Ilgwin. What took you so long out there, Ilgwin? You thought you were just going to find whatever's left at the lodge. I thought you were just going to go talk to your friends there. I've met new friends here, and they're a riot. They're a laugh. You see, he kind of steps out. You see, he holds the bowl of what looks like a dough that he was kneading. And a vine just comes up and grabs it, and he steps out to meet you all, and he just holds a hand out to whoever is up front first. Eldwin, pleasure to meet you. I'm this little Creighton's older brother. I run things around here.
Elduin, pleasure. Curanis Listane.
Nah, the Navalius Listanes.
Yes, you know my family.
Well, you're the shepherds of the temple.
Yes, we are.
One of the originals, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, my family traced their lineage back to when we first came over. Some of the first shepherds to find.
No, well, you see, not like this guy, and he kind of slaps Ilgwin on the arm, and it kind of crushes him a little bit. Unlike this hermit here, when I was a young man, I thought myself a river cleric, not a hedge cleric. I spent some time in Adrenari. But this one here in Florian convinced me to come out here into these woods, and now I'm stuck with them.
Well, if it's any consolation, it's beyond beautiful out here.
Yeah, well, a grove like this doesn't grow overnight.
So many Balefanes. To only have heard about them in legend, and then to see so many in one day.
Well, we don't really let them get too far because, well, there's not that many of them.
Of course. But I apologize, my friends here, the members of my party, the Wayward Five. Please, and Kieran gestures to the rest of the party to introduce yourselves. Like polite people.
Aloy just looks at everyone else and is like, all right, I guess I'll go first. My name's
Hold up. Let's not make you do this 10 times. Florian! Florian! Did you see Florian? Where the fuck is he? And you see like a rope falls down from one of these crystalline trees, from the foliage, and you see this much thinner Elysian elf comes down, who is just as tall as Elduin, but very lithe, very long face, where Elduin's face is very bulbous, and he's got that big button nose. This guy's got a long crooked nose, but unmistakable, similar kind of cheekbones and eyes. You can see the similarities between the three of them, but they're very, very distinct on their own. Ilgwin being the little one, despite being taller than most of you. Eldwin being the big, tough one, and Florian seeming to be kind of the more older, put together brother, as he's wearing those same pinstriped pants and the high shirt, but whereas his brother, one brother is covered in talismans, one has an apron, he's covered in like tools you would expect to see on Sarathil, like scientific endeavor tools, different things to take samples, different things to clean up artifacts. He is he's the brains and the brains, the brawn, and the joker of these. There are these three. As Florian comes descending down from the rope that's tied to his waist, and then he kind of cranks something and gets down and lands gracefully, undoes it, and kind of walks very flowy towards you all, and then kind of just puts his hands together and looks across you all. Oh. Are there new introductions to be made? Who are these people? I didn't want you them to introduce themselves again. This is Florian. He's our older brother. He founded this grove quite a while ago. He's probably as old as you, or approaching it, as he points to Kieran. But now you can introduce yourself, now that Florian's here. And you see the three of them now are just kind of standing in front of you, these ridiculous three brothers.
Right, so to update you, Florian, I am Kiranis Lestane of Navali.
The Navali Lestanes.
The ones. Surprised you know of my family, but I'm flattered. As I was telling your brother...
Well, I don't
Elduin
really
here,
know them.
know of them?
But Elduin has told me of his time in Navali.
Right.
But I don't know your family.
Oh.
Florian, chill. Relax.
Well, as I was saying just previously, you have a beautiful grove here. It's simply marvelous. But yes, and this is, so I'm Kieran, and here is the rest of my party, the Wayward Five.
Still not sure if I match that distinction, but my name's Talray Glomaruin. I don't know if you know my family, but I'm a Drake Warden for the God Drake Glomung. Maybe you heard of him?
No, I'm curious, yes. Of course we have heard of Glomung. The Balefanes have a special relationship to the little Drake. Their ethereal gifts come from perfect specimens, combinations of the grace of Iluvania and the grace of the little Drake. He breathed life into their forms while she carved their little masks.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, he is the sort of type that likes to grant his boons to the wandering folk. They seem like the type of creatures that he'd be interested in. And this is Mundy, and I
and you
summon
see,
Mundy.
as literally he says, as you're saying that, he sees Mundy, and you see Florian immediately just hovers basically over to Mundy and immediately starts to pet Mundy, but he's petting Mundy like any of you have had pets when you go to the vet and they're just sort of like feeding them treats and petting them while they're also like checking their ears and checking their paws, and he's just sort of checking the overall health of Mundy. He's like,
Don't worry, I summoned him this morning. He's perfect to condition.
his scales are a bit dim. You should get more calcium into his diet.
You know, I did some weird shit last night, and I forgot to feed him. I think he was a little concerned for me. You know, he gets a little nervous. You know, it's probably got to do with that.
You see Elduin comes up and just puts an arm around Florian and kind of drags him away from Mundy. He's like, that's enough, brother. We're not here for business. These are guests. The rest of you, who are you?
I am Sarathil of Glennuviel. So honor and pleasure to meet your acquaintance.
Gwenvalier. You've got the unmistakable complexion, though, of an Undying one.
Funny story indeed. I have indeed have the gift of the Undying. For I sought out Iluvania herself, was blessed with a gift.
Oh. You see Ilgwyn kind of immediately peeps up from behind his brows, like, it's okay, I already checked them. They're not servants of Queen Ayla.
Yes, I do apologize for not making that clear. We are
Is that-
actually here.
That one in the back is a defector, so we don't have to worry about him. There. Defector! And a stranger, I guess, who somehow has the gifts of our goddess. Interesting. Made really weird friends today, Ilgwyn. And you, my golden friend.
So, Lou, this entire time, I mean, he asked after they walked in, he appreciated the scenery, but this entire time, he's been trying to get Timber back because he doesn't want to talk to people.
Yeah, and as soon as Elduin points you out, though, the same way that Florian hovered quickly to Mundi, he hovers very quickly to you, and just sort of holds a hand out to grab like your hand and pull your massive paw out. It's like, you're no. Blessed? You can't be. You? Letariel?
Lou's just gonna look over at Kieran like,
This is the avatar of the old Fae Keeper Lou.
That's impossible. The old Fae Keeper Lou is a corrupted beast of the Wayward One.
Was a corrupted beast of the... Let's try not to use that word around him. He gets a little upset sometimes. Our friend Kaze had a ritual conducted on him by the wild elves of the Gosuru Nation. Lou's spirit was trapped within his body, and currently we are working on our relationship with Lou, giving him some time out of his... Is it like a prison in there? I don't actually know what it's like.
it's
Cage.
Don't say that word.
Oh,
it's quite nice, but it's not real.
Right.
Magnificent. Of course, those. That would make sense. The wild elves, they're obsessed with. They must have been trying to recreate the old blessings. You're you're actually the god, the Fae Keeper Lou. I'm sorry, I'm just at a loss for words. It's
Do you need food?
oh yeah, we brought breakfast.
well, I'm
completely straight, like just no smiles there.
And you see Elduin once again goes up and puts an arm around his brother and drags him away from another science experiment. Says, I'm very, very sorry about that, Mr. Lou. He is corrigible, and I try to keep a leash on him. We will respect your privacy while you're visiting us, and we will not study our guests, big brother. Yes, I'm dreadfully sorry. And Florian kind of backs away a bit, trying to conceal his embarrassment, he kind of immediately kind of like stands up taller and just sort of wraps a robe around him that he kind of druid crafts out of the air, and just sort of wraps around it, and then a staff appears in his hand, and he starts walking away. It was a pleasure meeting you. I have work to do.
Well, we still our final member. Kieran says.
Hey,
Putting
Eldwin,
an armor on
Florian,
Scarlet.
don't be so rude. We've got one more.
I know it's hard to see her sometimes. She loves to blend into the background.
I'm Scarlet. I'm Scarlet.
Pleasure to meet you, Scarlet. And Eldwin will put a hand out to shake yours. Got calluses of a workman, a crafter. Strong grip.
My father was a blacksmith and he taught me everything he knew.
You know, well, there's a lot of important problem solving in blacksmithing. You have to understand a lot about the natural world and the metals and the ingots and all of those sorts of... It's its own kind of alchemy. And then you see Florian now comes up to Eldwin by his side and wraps an arm into his arm and says, "No, we don't want to be studying our guests, right, brother?" Oh, of course. I'm so sorry. I was whipping up some lunch. If you all wanted to take part.
It would be our pleasure. Thank you so much.
I just pull out the leftovers.
We'd be happy to share what we have as well.
Oh, of course. I'm always interested in trying other folks' cuisine. We eat a lot of vegetables here, and it gets old. But come on, got some wild peppers that I have sautéed. Same.
Well, do I have something special for you?
Okay. So, Eldwin would kind of lead you in to the hollow beneath. If you would all like to follow, unless anyone wants to stay outside. Florian, very much so, if he's not studying Lou or Glomung, or I'm sorry, not Glomung, Mundy, he's very aloof and is not that interested in talking to you all. He's very Saruman in a lot of ways, as he wanders away with his ostentatiousness.
And I imagine if you keep feeding Mundy, it's fine.
Yeah. And Ilgun will kind of just like hold his hand out for you all to go in. His Joker side seems to have diminished a little bit amongst his big brothers. But yeah, you can enter the hollow if you'd all like.
Sounds good.
Lou would probably wait outside.
Okay.
I don't imagine he would. Yeah.
Excellent. Huron, could you give me a D100 roll? High or low?
Why not both? Low. 59.
Okay. You would notice as you're about to go down below, and as kind of Lou stays behind, clearly a little nervous. Maybe you look back to check in on him one more time as everyone's following Eldwin down, and Ilgwyn is right next to you and kind of looking to you also, kind of like expecting you to come down. But as the three of you are there for just a moment, as you are sitting there, you suddenly would see beyond Lou, about 60 feet back by the entrance to the grove, you would just sort of see this crackle of light for a moment. And then a beam of light come down. this beam of ghostly, sickly green light. And then you would hear suddenly all of the Balethanes at once seem to start panicking. And you see several of them immediately kind of turning ethereal and running around and trying to escape from whatever presence this is. As you would see a form step out. Tall, completely covered in white garb, flecked with dirt and time. There's a hood over the head, and then on the face, it's completely concealed by a mask just as pale as the clothing. That just has sort of a bust of an owl makes up the face. The robes flow down to a tabard and then a cape behind, with just a few flares of silver and violet. This person is much taller. They're probably like 7'5". And then they kind of just cock their head as they look at you. And then they start to step closer towards you. Their steps seem to manipulate the space around them. As you see, when they step on the ground, the earth, the grass wilts away, and it shifts to that blackened landscape of Therismore. They have not said a single word to you, but they are stepping towards you.
Stepping out from this area, like out of the stairwell area, Kieran starts to walk towards it, and turning over his back, he goes, "It's just
Ilgwyn and Lou are with you right now. Everyone else has begun walking down."
He'll turn to Ilgwyn and say, "I apologize. It seems we've brought some unwanted guests with us. I suggest we prepare." And Kieran gives a knowing look to Lou.
No, I had Lou's outside.
Yeah.
So was he.
Oh,
Yeah, so
I'm
we're
sorry.
still
I'm sorry.
outside.
I saw it. Never mind.
Yeah, so the three of you are seeing this, and you can give that knowing look to Lou. Ilgwyn kind of nods to you and scrambles downstairs as this person is now about 30 feet away from you, as they're just looking at you. They don't appear to have any weapons on them right now, that you can see at least. But the animals and plant life recoil from them.
Facing it, entity fully, Kieran goes, "I didn't think it'd be so soon that she'd send another minion come after us. Pray tell, who do I have the honor of facing today? What champion of the Undying court seeks my soul?"
My name has been lost to time. Kieran Islastane.
That's a shame. She preserves your life, but not your names. So
You
selfish.
do not have the mantle to gift or remove the Undying blessing.
Of course, I would never dare think such a thing. It was Ilyuvania who removed Ayla's curse from Rodrin the Bold. I was merely her vessel.
You will make a fine addition. surrender. And we will leave your friends to flee.
If there's one thing you should know about us, Jiren says as I imagine the rest of the party comes up, flanks around him, we all stand there. It's that we never run from a fight.
Then you will die. One last chance. Give up the shard.
You didn't know it's shards now, Kieran says, motioning with the staff and having it expand to show the magic of Ilivani as it swirls and then coalesces back together into the shattered.
You see he holds up his hands on either side, and you see materializing between them is a long barbed scepter that has not a real moon shard, but some kind of moon shard in it. Not the same as what you've got. That he then kind of grabs out of the air. It's very fluid in its designs, except for that very barbed and brutal head. But you see he holds it up, and you see he's looking around, almost like ignoring you now, as you see these Balthanes are running amok. And you see he steps to his right and vanishes in almost an echo. And you look in the direction he was walking, and you see he's immediately next to one of these Balthanes with his hand on it. Even though it's ethereal, he can touch it. And you can see just sort of the whole thing becomes corporeal. And you can see that blue incorporeal mask is shifting to a pale and green moonlight as he is essentially dominating the Balthane. And that's where we're going to end tonight.
Ooh.
As it's 10:30, it's not a good time to roll initiative.
This freaking guy.
The one last thing I'll say, Kieran, is as the party comes up, Rodrin is right next to you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see on his face, significant shock. As he'll just whisper to you, I didn't think she would send him. And that's where we'll end.
Oh.
All right, folks. Thanks for sticking around with us to 10:30. And please join us next week, as we're sure to be some dramatic, contentious conflict between these heroes and this new soul champion who's arrived. Thank you for joining us all tonight. Let me turn this music to happy music and not scary music. But we've got plenty of programming throughout the week, so please join us for some of our other shows. Are y'all doing another play tomorrow night?
Sean, are you relaxing on Wednesday?
Not Wednesday. It would be Thursday is when I would normally do it.
Okay.
This is technically an off week for me, but so if you
I'll
do,
I'll chat with
Yeah.
Mr. Man over here and
Yeah,
figure out
okay.
either tomorrow
Well, I
night or
think-
Wednesday night.
Sounds
Elden
good.
Ring co-op.
No,
Or-
because someone's
Don't even.
someone's
Don't
got
even.
some memory issues.
I
got
think
It's not
memory
Scarlet.
issues.
Yeah, so we'll, I guess, either be playing tomorrow or Wednesday. Check us out.
We'll let you all know what's going on. This is an off week for me for Relaxing in Paradise, so I will not be playing on Thursday. Although there's always a chance for bonus stream. But I've not done that yet, so don't count on it. So Relaxing in Paradise will be back for sure next week. We are going to be doing some crafting. I might do it this week because I do have a Balefane mini that I do need to finish, as well as the mini for this new guy. And we've got some experimental stuff to work on for, future combat. Yes, so another play in Paradise will potentially be sometime this week. They usually start at 7 p.m. Relaxing Paradise is on Thursdays bi-weekly at 8:30 p.m. This Friday, Shannon and I will be jumping back into the next season of The Scales Above over on Roll for Damage. And then on Sunday, we will be returning to the most powerful hour on the internet, the Sean and Shannon Power Hour, to recap this very lore-filled episode.
I got it all.
And we'll be back on Monday to fight this douchebag and his queen. But we're gonna raid someone now.
This douchebag and his queen.
This douchebag and his queen. That's going to be the name of the episode.
Please.
My God, yes.
But we're going to raid. Let's raid. Got a few options here. Let's raid Diagnosed Matt. He's always a good lad. All right, but otherwise, thank you for joining us in Paradise, and we will see you all soon. Say good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye. Don't die.